Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. It's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, and this year the theme is kindness. Now it was going to be sleep, however, because of the pandemic they decided to change the theme to kindness, and I think it was a really good idea, because what has really struck me, and I think has struck many people, is the number of acts of kindness that have been taking place over the last few months. And I think it's really important to acknowledge it and to celebrate it. I think kindness is something which very often we are good at being kind to other people, but we don't necessarily look at ourselves and bestow the kindness upon ourselves. And that's really important, because if we can't be kind to ourselves, then it's very difficult to be kind to other people. So kindness and compassion really do start here. I wanted to share with you today a book which is called A Walk in the Wood, and this book, you might be able to see his little figure on the front cover. It is a series of meditations and mindfulness practices with a bear named Pooh. It's by a doctor, Dr. Joseph Parent, who is a psychologist and obviously a real die-hard Winnie the Pooh fan like myself. He has obviously read the Winnie the Pooh books in great detail and has recognised that as a character he might think of himself as a bear with very little brain, but actually as a character he's a very wise bear, and he is able to just live in the present, and he's also a very kind little bear. So this book has chapters on different types of mindfulness and meditations, and I wanted to share with you today the chapter about kindness. So I'm going to read you a short extract about Pooh's morning routine, and then briefly we'll just talk about how we might introduce a routine to our mornings as a way to start the day off more mindfully and more thoughtfully in the future. So, it was morning, the way most days begin. Winnie the Pooh woke up, which was how he liked to start every day. He stretched out his arms and legs. A sigh that was mostly a yawn, or was it a yawn that was mostly a sigh? It started deep inside and wound its way up through his nose and found its way out of his mouth with an ah and an He sat up, stretched a little more, and rubbed the sleep from his eyes. Pooh gave himself a shake all over, in case any of him hadn't woken up yet, and then he sat up nice and straight. He took in a big breath of fresh air, held it for a moment, and blew it all the way out. Pooh did so 3 times every morning to clear the stale air from his body and the sticky cobwebs from his mind. Next, Pooh opened his eyes very wide to take in all that he could see: colours, shapes, and different shades of light and dark. There were beams of yellow sunlight dancing on the wall, his brown chair in the corner, and a picture of a very pink piglet on the bedside table. Pooh opened his ears to take in all the sounds he could hear near and far, loud and soft, high and low. There was the tick-tock-tick of his coo clock on the wall, the birds chirping songs outside his window, and the gentle whistling of the wind in the trees. Next, he recited his morning rhyme. Just 2 things to do to be truly Pooh. The first thing was to be in the here and now as much as he possibly could without a whole lot of thinking about it, and this was easy enough for a bear with very little brain. The second thing was to be as kind as he possibly could towards everyone, including himself, and this was easy enough to do, for he was a bear with a very big heart. It's not hard to be me, thought Pooh. Just be here and now and be kind. So just thinking about Pooh's morning routine and how you might set your routine tomorrow. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, mindfully yawn and stretch and sit up tall and upright in bed. Maybe turn and place your feet on the floor and just feel that grounding under the soles of your feet. Think about, like he did, taking in a deep breath. And as you take that deep breath in, think about, with every inhalation, that you are breathing in positivity, breathing in energy. And with every exhalation, we're going to exhale all that stale air out of the lungs, and maybe exhaling any negativity that you might have woken up with that morning. And do these deep breaths at least 3 times, if not more. Then notice your environment. So you'll be in your bedroom. So just take a moment to look around. Notice the colours. Notice the light. And notice how it's affected by the light coming from outside. So maybe if it's a bright sunny day, the colours look a little bit more vibrant. Maybe if it's overcast, things look a little bit muted, but just taking a moment to just notice. Notice what's different from the day before. And let's now listen to the sounds that we can hear. So it might be a clock ticking. It might be birds singing outside. And I don't know about you, but I feel so much more connected to nature at the moment. The traffic noise is noticeably less. I live right under the flight path, and not hearing the constant humming of aeroplanes coming in overhead has allowed me to hear the natural world again. But there may be other sounds as well, like a dog barking. My dog's about to have a woof. It might be your partner snoring. It might be your children in another room. But just taking a moment to listen. Taking this time to be grateful for what we can see and for what we can hear. And so, now it's time to think about setting our intention for the day ahead. I've got a little friend come to see me here. Hello, Mabel. Mabel, her intention every day is to have as good a day as possible, and I think to be as loving as possible and to be as loved as she possibly can. And she probably also sets an intention to eat well. But what we ought to consider when we set our intention each day is that every day is a gift. It's 24 hours that's being gifted to us to live the best day we can. 24 hours where we have the opportunity to be kind and to bestow that kindness on ourselves and on those around us. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you today. It looks like somebody might want feeding, don't you think? So I hope you all have a fabulous day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me.